Chester. Thanks for coming up.
Pleasure.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Good. Couldn't get the trash on the way up?
Oh, Jesus.
Get it later. How was the trip?
Not bad.
No?
Not too
Why
shabby.
are we walking so fast?
That's how I always walk.
You have a long gait. Here, go
It's
ahead.
like New York. You walk fast.
All right. Straight back into the shed.
We have a long gait.
That was a good cheesy one. Ready to do this?
Yep.
Let's do it. All right, here we are. Welcome to Live from the Shed. This is an actual shed. This isn't an extension, a man cave. This is a shed I bought from Amish people. Amish Mike in Jersey. It's not connected. There's no toilet. You gotta pee. You gotta go out by the tree. Listen, today's guest, I am very excited. My first guest on Live from the Shed. One of my best friends, the legend, self-proclaimed, right? No.
Well, no. Well,
Well,
maybe it started that way, yeah.
I think you started it, and then we just followed along.
did.
My favorite person in the world, everybody's favorite comic, a comics comic, Colin Quinn. What's up, buddy? Thanks for
buddy.
coming out to the shed.
Thanks. I like how you say Amish Mike. It sounds like a gang guy. Amish Mike from Pennsylvania.
Well, there's this guy Mike that has a hookup with the Amish people, and you got to go through Mike to get to the Amish. You can't go directly to the Amish.
Yeah, I used to know a guy named Gypsy Eric down in Florida.
I want that nickname. That's a great nickname.
Gypsy Eric.
Gypsy
yeah.
Eric.
It was pretty good.
I used to love when I was hanging out. It was back in South Medford, in the Italian part. It was Mikey O, Mikey Dots,
Right.
Mikey Cat, old Mike Cat, young Mike Cat,
Yeah.
Lonnie Hill.
Yeah.
They just take the last name and
Yeah.
and make it cool. I was just, you know what they called me? Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Irish people is that a little last name. Quinn, Kelly,
Yeah.
O'Banion.
McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stinks.
Sully. That's the only one was Sully.
Sully. Well, welcome to the show, dude.
Thank you.
We, you know, I've been doing the show by myself up here for a while.
I know. I've been watching it.
Have you really watched
I've
my
watched
show?
a couple, remember?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You lying?
No.
Okay. Well,
What? What the hell?
sorry.
What is going on here?
I'm sorry.
What the hell happened?
Because I just spit all over Jim Serpico, the director.
it's live from the shed. You trying to tell people so they know it's
No,
live?
because sometimes when I'm like, do you like it? And you're like, yeah, I did. I just don't believe you.
Right.
And I feel like you're lying to me.
I feel
but I was
like-
supposed to be phony and go, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to go forward with this, but I almost choked on your lie.
But it wasn't a lie.
Okay.
But if I said I watched it, what does that tell you? I've watched. What do you think I watch? I hate watch things. I do hate watch things, but I mostly hate watch.
There's nothing. I don't think anything more enjoyable in life than hate watching.
But my
somebody's
hate watch.
Instagram.
You know my hate watches things are
What?
old like classic like Cheaper by the Dozen, Steve Martin movies from the '90s, Billy Crystal stuff. Like I'll watch that stuff from the '90s.
You don't like that. You hate watch it.
Yeah.
Why?
Why do I hate those movies?
Why do you hate those movies?
Because they're just like very soft, like kind of like, hey, let's keep it nice, you know, keep it. It just bugs me.
Here's the thing, though. If you had the opportunity,
Yeah.
I know the answer to it already because you've had the opportunity. If you had the opportunity to be in one of those movies, would you?
You know my answer. I'd rewrite. I'd make them. I'd say I'll rewrite it for you.
Right.
I tell you, I lost more deals when I first was on MTV.
Right.
I lost more deals by going in. First of all, my dumb agent never told me that the producer was the writer. So already I think I'm doing the producer, not the writer.
Yeah.
I walk in the meeting. You know, I had a little heat for a second there in '89. So they're bringing me in. You know,
89?
'89. They bring me in for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Just like show. What do you think of the script? It sucks, but me and my friends can rewrite it.
Right.
Because I was a comedian. You know how
Yeah.
comedians were like. So I was literally talking to the writers. I thought they were the producer. I thought it was separate. So I'm saying their script sucks to their face.
That's great. And what
Did
they
it
say
10
back?
Did it 10 times.
10 times?
Yeah, and they're like this. And finally my manager, my agent, and me figured out what was happening.
No wonder you're in a shed with me. In your 50s. What are you doing?
Is that Chip Chipperson?
This is Chip. Yeah, that's his mug, his mask. But it's funny that you say that because here's the thing with when you if you get one of these gigs, if you get an animation,
Right.
if you get one of these Christmas Stories or Home Alones, you're getting paid for the rest of your life.
Right.
You're getting a big payday. You're going to get more money for the residuals the way the union works now. I mean, you most people don't know this, that you were supposed to be in
Austin Powers?
Austin Powers. You were the son.
Yeah, I was the son. I literally had the part.
He called you up.
Sarah Silverman called me up. He goes, Mike Myers is looking for you. Mike Myers keeps talking about how great you are. And Larry Sanders, I played Rip Torn's son on Larry Sanders.
Yeah, it was great.
One episode, right, thanks.
Yeah.
And so Mike Myers saw it. I want him to be the son in Austin Powers. Calls me up. Just started SNL. Say I've been there a year. He's like, hey, it's Mike. I like your work. I go, oh, thanks, Mike. I never met him. I want you to play the son in Austin Powers. That's great, Mike. I'm busy doing this other stuff right now, but I'm doing the show. He goes, no, I'll talk to Lorne. I can get you out. It's only a few days. Mike, it's a few days that I can't afford, to be honest with you, because I'm working on my script, my screenplay.
What was that? When did that get filmed?
It's something I've been working on for many years. It's still in pre-production. One more rewrite. One more rewrite. I've been
Our Shed Show is on the air before the script that you turned down Austin Powers for. Oh, it's good.
Ow! Ow! Yes!
Fuck.
Ow! Yes!
Why?
I never thought of it that way. Ow!
Why?
Because in my mind, I came in this business for several reasons. And one of them was...
For torture?
No, one of them was to be kind of like a... I don't want to say Woody Allen nowadays, but I'm saying, be like a kind of guy that writes and directs his own movies.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
And a lot of things I had to put aside in order to have achieved that goal.
Like what?
And I've never achieved that goal, but I had to shove a lot of things aside. You've known for years. I mean, you've seen me go in there and I write, I rewrite, and I try to hand it out. And I have all my scripts, and they're all basically the same idea, which is sort of, and I mean, they've flourished, obviously.
When you go into writing mode, though, it's a weird thing because we really kind of got close on Tough Crowd.
Yes.
Is when I started really hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And, that's when the Cellar was popping off because we were hanging out at the Cellar before Tough Crowd. The Cellar was empty a lot. It wasn't packed.
That's right.
And then you had this show, first on NBC, Tough Crowd, which Lauren produced, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then Comedy Central bought it and made it Tough Crowd.
Yeah.
And we started hanging out. And that's when the Comedy Cellar table was that was what Tough Crowd was kind of about, right? Like the comics.
Well, sort of, but it was also to me, when I first started saying it, I would walk downstairs. It was the beginning of political correctness, really.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't realize that until recently. And so I'd be reading all these things in the news, and everybody's saying, like, you've got to stop talking like this. And then I'd go downstairs and walk to the bathroom at the Cellar. It was because the bathroom in the Cellar was in the back. And every comedian would be on stage. You, Patrice, Nick, Judy Go, all these people would be going on there saying these vile things, whatever they really felt.
Right.
And the crowd would be laughing.
Yeah.
A full crowd laughing. Nobody was tense. That probably wouldn't happen today. Right. But anyway, so I was like, how can I be hearing how this is all offensive and yet all these people on stage making 200 people laugh nightly?
Right.
And that was basically my thought behind Tough Crowd. I was like, this is reality, and what these people are what they're just the powers that be are deciding is appropriate and offensive. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
But guess who lost that battle in the long run?
Yeah.
It's 10 times worse. But that was the original thought, it was a battle against political correctness because I'm watching everybody on stage. But the crowd's not offended.
But is what we do like at the table? I mean, if you look at Tough Crowd,
right?
Is it too insider? Is it too much for the general population to see on their television? Is it okay when you go to a club and you're kind of in this dark hole and nobody knows you're there and it's a one-time thing and, as opposed to being at your house where you're used to this fluffy stuff coming through. Where, you know, your family's around and what's on TV is different.
Oh, yeah.
So now all of a sudden tough crowds on and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
As opposed to if you got those people at a comedy club, it's a little different environment. Does the environment matter?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but let's not forget, every one of these motherfuckers in showbiz is spending all their career, all their lives going, we want something edgy, or we want something honest. We don't like the fake, because when I grew up in the 70s, you'd watch showbiz, and they were like trying not to be fake. Because the whole joke, like even the comedy shows, SCTV, they make fun, and SNL make fun of like, hey, you're the greatest, showbiz, fantastic. They'd make fun of that.
Yeah.
Because it's trying to be real. So here's a show that was trying to be real. But when it come down to it, most people, the powers that be in showbiz are like, ew, that's uncomfortable. It's like, yeah, real is uncomfortable.
But also comics, not all comics are comfortable being exposed. Not all comics, too, I learned from Tough Crowd, are funny out here.
Right.
Out in the open.
Right.
Like after the show. There's a lot of comics that can go up and be really funny on stage, but then come off and they're too much of an open wound or whatever the fuck it is, where they are not funny. Their conversations are, you know, political or serious. And if you say something outrageous to them, they're like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
It's like, how the fuck did you become a comic?
Right. They're different from what we think of. And some of them are funny.
Some are real funny.
It didn't help that, you know, you did have somebody like Patrice, who, let's face it, as brilliant of a man as he was, wasn't the most engaging. He wasn't the guy when you start your first day in a new class. He's not the kid teacher goes, take care of him and walk him around and show him. He wasn't that guy.
No.
So
he'd rather make you uncomfortable than him uncomfortable. Because let's be honest, he was uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And he told me he actually made that decision once.
Right.
He was going into all these meetings.
Right.
And he goes, I felt insecure and I got all fucked up. These little white dudes and white women and were making me all fucked up. And I was like, why the hell do I have to? I'm going to make them feel fucked up. So he'd walk in and just point to their face. What's up with your lip?
Yes.
And what? My lip? And they didn't know how to deal with that shit. No. They didn't like it, but it's funny you say, because it did turn. Like, he was so funny that they kept going back to him.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Please change a little bit.
Yes, please meet us one.
A percent.
Because he would meet. I introduced him one time at the cellar. Some producer friend of mine was in there. And Patrice standing there, and the guy goes, hey, how you doing? And he goes like this. And holds out his hand. He wasn't trying to do it to be funny. He literally thought he was a king, and that was a subject. That's how he held his hand. I go, you're unbelievable. I thought I was bad. Oh, man.
But that one guy could have loved him. Thought he was the funniest guy in the world. Put him in something, and fucking you're set for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but you know, I feel like a lot of people have an attitude, and I know I've been accused of it myself, where I don't want people to put me in something. I want to do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I don't want to be in something. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Because it's not all about trying to get rich. We all love money. We all want to be rich. But like right now, if you could be like a giant, you know, movie, TV star, like just rich beyond your wildest me, would you still do stand-up? And if so, why? Because everybody goes back to it. Adam Sandler goes back to it. Ray Romano goes back to it. They don't need to be doing it. So why are people doing it?
We used to have this thing, Burr and Patrice and Norton. We used to think, like, how much would it cost for you to get out of the business? 100%.
Hilarious.
Like, how much? Like, what's your number? Everybody has a number where you can't do comedy.
Right.
You can't be on stage. You can go whittle. You can go fucking, you know.
Yeah.
You can make guitars. You can, you know, you can help children. You cannot perform. No more performing in stand-up at all, anything. How much would it cost? And I think mine's $5 million. $5 million, I'm out.
What do you mean? $5 million?
You give me $5 million.
I thought you were gonna say
I'm gonna fucking become a knife maker. I'm not kidding.
It. I like knives.
I'm gonna be fucking.
You gave me a great knife.
I'm gonna become a knife maker.
You gave me a nice knife.
I don't know if it's a nice knife.
I like it.
Well,
but I mean,
let's not carried away with that knife.
It's an antique.
It's an antique. It was an antique from the 40s. Yeah.
But I love knives. But so you really wouldn't do stand-up again?
How much would it cost right now? What's your number? There's a number you have.
Right.
to not do stand-up ever again. Like never, I'm going to give tax-free, it's your money, but you cannot step on stage again. You can write, you can do stuff like that, but you can't perform anymore. You're done.
Yeah. But I can't perform even, how about this? How about nobody else is allowed to perform either? I'll quit if everybody else quits.
Why? Because you'll be mad?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm still trying to figure something out in stand-up.
What does that mean?
I'm still trying to figure something out in stand-up. You know?
That's funny, because you told me one time, and it really stuck with me. You're a great comic when you can walk off stage and not feel guilty.
Right.
Because every comic, no matter how famous or whatever, we all walk off stage and there's that one thing we did that we do all the time, or one little thing we said, or one little gimmicky thing that we did just to keep the laughs. Because there was a little moment where our instincts and if you can walk off stage, you go, wow, I just said something.
Right. I said what I wanted to say and got my laughs.
And got your laughs.
That's the perfect, because you got to get laughs. That's the other thing we've talked about many times.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's like, when I do interviews, and they're shocked sometimes that I actually say this, even though it's the most logical thing in the world. I go, well, because they go, you like to talk about politics. I go, yes, but the main priority, if you're not getting laughs, I don't care what you're saying, you're false advertising. Because people are coming there to laugh. So if you get laughs saying what you want to say, that's the ideal world. But guess what? They're coming there to laugh. So if you're just up there preaching, you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
You're a comedian. Yeah. You're a preacher, yes. You're a comedian. So that's...
But if you're up there just getting laughs, and they're not legitimate laughs...
Right.
Like we talked about, that there's comics that, are just out there doing this as... They got an act, and that's it. And they use that act to make money for the rest of their lives.
That's right.
As opposed to constantly, and you do it, evolving, writing, trying new things. Like you're still trying to find something. Like what is that thing?
But I'll ask you now. So you just said now I don't believe you'll quit at $5 million, because you just said you could easily go out. I mean, you kill like nobody kills, and you can kill in a big arena.
Right.
I mean, you'll kill in front of anybody. I mean, you're a dangerous guy to follow for a lot of people.
Right.
Which is amazing.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, so if you could just do that, then why do you try and take chances?
Because here's the thing, is that I haven't stuck. Okay, so like there's people, I've killed 20,000 people. I've done arenas. I've gone up after Burr and, Leary and Fallon and, I've gone up in the most horrific situation and pulled it off. Yeah. And I've killed, and I can go on stage in small crowds and but and this may sound, I don't know, weird, but I don't have the financial equity to back that up. Right. Those two things don't match.
Right.
And other people I know do. You do. Right. Like Bird does, blah, blah, blah. But look, like people have this equity. Look, I'm fine. I'm good. I always ask my wife, are we good? She's like, we're good. That's all I want to know.
Right, right.
Because I know that, so I did all this stuff. I can kill in front of anybody. But I'm still what I'm trying to find is what is that thing where people go, oh, he's really good. Because I'm not, I'm never in the 50, I'm never in anybody's fucking list. Right. Even when I did the Tonight Show, it was great. You know what I mean? But if you look, like I saw somebody else do the Tonight Show, and all the comics were, ooh, woo, wee, woo, and a few comics were for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that is, There's like some people stick, some people comics, some people the industry love, but I'm still waiting, comedy-wise, to find that thing where, fans show up. Because I really don't care about being a comic or the industry. I would just love it to be able to sell out shows, make my money, and go. I'm not there yet. So you offer me $5 million right now, I'm going to make you the best knife you've ever had. Yeah. Well, you're going to have a fucking great bushcraft knife from Bob Kelly. Bobby Bushcraft. That's my name. BB. Right on the blade. Full tang. You know what tang means?
Nope.
Full tang. Metal to metal on the grip. I've been studying knives.
Well, when I was growing up, we used to say, "Hey, you have to have 5 fingers. The cops can't arrest you."
It's 4.
But
do you know what I'm saying? It's like you are at a certain point where you can kind of, I mean, and you fight it for you, and you fight being famous. You've had so many opportunities. I feel the industry loves you.
No, they don't.
You don't think so?
The comedians love me. The industry doesn't love me. The comedians love me. I've always been, from day one, comedians love me.
Right.
The industry doesn't love me.
What do you mean? But
the industry doesn't love me.
But you've been on shows.
I've been on some shows, but they won't let me do my own shows.
Right.
I mean, they won't let me do my own shows. They just want to put me on stuff once in a while, but because I'm well known and because comedians like me. So I'm not in the game where I can do stuff that I've been developing for 50 years, you know.
Right. Why do you think they won't give you that opportunity?
I have no idea. I think I just have, well, you know why. I mean, I just come in with the attitude of like, you know, you don't buy me out, I buy you out. You know what I mean? Like, I just have that attitude, like, because I've earned it. So I'm like, okay, let's stop right here. I'll tell you what, you know me, I don't do anything I don't want to do. Yeah. And it's like, don't tell me, because they'll be like, because it drives me crazy when people are like, I don't know if that's funny. It's like, I know you don't. So why don't you leave it to the people that go on the road? The people that actually test market every weekend. I know. You were in Tacoma. I was in Denver this weekend. Yeah. Full houses of people from that area. So don't tell me you don't know what's funny. I'll tell you what works in Tacoma, or I'll tell you what works in Denver. I'm there. You tell me what works in a little industry night in LA or New York. Otherwise, you're not sure. So stop acting like you do know. You know.
It's fucking hard to know funny instinctually, and that goes back to people who learn how to be funny, which you can.
Yeah.
But, you know, and that's another thing you said to me a long time ago. You should, you know, people, joke writers or act outs or energy. Yeah. You should learn it all.
Yes.
Be it all.
Yeah.
Be able to write, be able to act out, be able to tell a story, be able to have energy if you need it, and then slow it down if you have to. But it's like going on the road every weekend. We know what's funny, but it gets sad, man. You know, the saddest moment for me is a Saturday night after 2 shows, shaking hands. You know, people walking up going, that was the best show I ever saw. And you're like, wow. And then you go back to your hotel room and you get into that bed and you pull up the covers because you got 3 hours before that limo picks you up. And you can stay up, but you've done that before and you're too tired the next day. And so you should just try to get a couple hours sleep, and you put the pillows right, and then you pull that sheet up over and you set your alarm clock, and you're lying in a king bed in a nice hotel all by yourself.
No.
And it's...
No, I was going to say the saddest moment to me is leaving the club after the second show. You got your check, you know, you're killed. Yeah. Great show. Everybody had a great night. And there's 6 people that just were lagging behind. They were the last ones at the bar. They went across the street to another bar. Yeah. And now they're out. It's like an hour later. And they're still drinking. And they were all friends. And they all love each other. And they were all, you know, young and having a great Saturday night. And then they see you walking by. And they go, hey. Yeah. And you just did the show. And then you go, okay, bye. And you walk that walk. Yeah.
Don't forget the little satchel of food you have from the comedy club, the Caesar salad with chicken and the wrap that you have when you get back to the room. Your bag of loneliness. They just see some middle-aged guy with a bag of loneliness just killed in front of 300 people. Good night. Now he's just a lonely asshole going back to a hotel room.
But there is
5 million call. I'm out 5 mil.
But there is something. We were talking about this the other night. I still feel pride, and I feel you feel the same way. We were talking about this the other night. Yeah. Because people don't understand what it means to face that directly and just say whatever, and to be a headliner. Like look, we've all been middle acts. We've all done. You know, middling is, you have to be funny. You have to be funny being middle actor. There's no taking away from it. You have to go on stage, but to headline in a place where everyone's trying to kill, because you're the guy from out of town, they're going to show you how they do it here. And then you got to go up, and it's an hour, and it's people that are drunk, and people are getting checks, They're still getting the checks dropped.
They're the drunkest they've been all night because they've had 2 hours to get to this point.
Right. Yeah. And they got to figure out them halfway through your set.
Yeah.
25 minutes halfway.
Halfway through.
They have to figure out and divide up the money among the tables in the whole place.
Yeah.
And you're gonna still trying to keep their attention, make them live. You're not playing music. You're not singing like a.
Nope.
You're just up there. You're not a stripper.
Hardest thing in the world to do.
And you got to do that. Yeah. And there is a certain pride when they can go, that was the greatest show I ever saw. There's something about it.
There is something about it. And it's weird because, people, this guy's, I headline. Look, if you middle, you're not a headliner. If you middle on a certain day,
right,
you're not a headliner. You might headline sometimes, you're still a feature act. No, and there's some, I headline. No, you're not. Because headlining is going out every weekend. You're the last guy all the time. And you have to do it every week.
You have to do it, and you have to kill following guys doing their greatest hits.
Greatest hits.
And you did morning radio. You have to do morning radio. You have to do all the morning radio.
Yeah.
And you have to show up with nothing but you.
Yeah.
And go on and kill and make it worth people's while.
Yeah.
Because that's people's big night out maybe for the year, at least for a few months.
Yeah.
And so you have to go out there and bring it. And there is a certain badge of honor. All the guys the people that do that.
Yeah.
Regularly, there's something to it. And like you said, it's 10 times harder if you're not doing your greatest hits.
Yep.
If you're doing new material.
Stuff, if you're not
sticking. We all have that first hour. You go out and kill, blah, blah, blah. But it's the people
to be on your 4th hour or 5th hour.
Yeah, that's
and it's like I could culminate this. Yes. I could come out and do a cruise ship set.
Yes.
And it will fucking murder everything. I wouldn't have to think about it.
And you wouldn't have to think.
And yet, but you got to throw this thing, that new thing in once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's weird because some places in the country that they won't buy that. Some places they'll be like,
Yeah.
And you gotta figure out, is it them? Is it you? Is it right. Yeah, fuck them. It's them. And
sometimes
you figure a way to say it so they get.
Exactly.
I guess that's the thing you were talking about where you're still trying to figure it out.
You're still trying to figure out what you're trying. Like the other night I was on stage. I do this thing I just written.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes, yeah, and starts applauding. Yeah. And of course I go, please don't do that. I go, that confuses me. I go, I'm not here to get applause and cheers.
Yes.
I don't want cheers. I don't want applause. I want laughs or silence.
I hate applause breaks.
And I mean, and they're looking at me like, what's his problem? But I know what,
I feel like I did something wrong when I get an applause.
Me too. Yeah. But a lot of guys live off applause breaks.
Love it. Because you can, it's almost a mathematical equation.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing that you do. Bing, bing, boom, bang.
Yes. They're agreeer comics.
Yeah.
They're just like, they should call themselves the agreeables because instead of comedians. Because they're up there like, what about this? And everyone's like, yay.
Yes.
And you might as well be hanging out with your friend that's so.
I want laughs.
It's like the moral high road. That doesn't remind me of comedy. It's a very.
You want laughs.
Yeah, laughs. That's how I can measure anything in comedy.
Yeah.
Laughs. I don't want applause. I want cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Cheers.
Let me ask you a question. Is there anything that, what is your biggest regret overall?
Overall in my life or comedically?
As an adult, not as a child, not as an adult, on your own, what is your biggest regret?
Well, I mean, I have a lot. I have a lot of regrets, but I mean, I'll just keep it in the business.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the business, my biggest regret is that I didn't early on, like look at it the way you're looking at it right now, which is you're doing only where you have to do your thing.
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna any step of the way. I used to write things and go, now they'll take care of it from here. I wrote it.
Right.
And then it went away.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that's messed up. I'm going to do that exact thing again. Yeah. I'm going to do the same thing and hand it over and just say, will somebody help?
Right.
Nobody's going to help. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to be there for the beginning through the end.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wrote a lot of great stuff, but I never took it to the level where it's like, I have to do it. Right. I wanted to hand it over like a kid.
Well, you can't now with iPhones, with technology, you can do it yourself now. I mean, don't get crazy.
But even then,
if Judd Apatow knocked on this shed door right now, I'd tell you to beat it. I'd be like, what do you got? What do you got, Judd? What do you want to do?
But I'm just saying, right.
Judd.
But Judd's a perfect example. I knew Judd when he started.
Right.
Judd's a perfect example of somebody that knew early on, no one's going to help Judd Apatow. He knew this.
Yeah.
He was So what did he do? He starts writing jokes for Shanley. He starts writing jokes for Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And he starts, but even then, he's like, I'm going to write jokes for them, but unless I take it out, they're going to go, oh, good, he's the guy that writes jokes for me. They're not going to go, hey, you wrote jokes for me. You direct this. He still had to make himself useful in the production sense. And I was always like, I wrote it, now you producing nerds do something with it. That's basically what I was thinking in my head.
Right.
And they're like, no, we don't do that. You got to do it. I did that. I wrote it.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You got to do everything yourself.
You got to. I
There's no.
And I mean, if you look at all these guys who are successful, they do everything themselves.
That's right.
There's so much more to the iceberg than just that thing that you see them on stage or.
I tell you my expression I came up with like 2 years ago. I was watching an old Western, and they're surrounded. The wagon's surrounded by some, the Cheyennes or Apaches are coming down. And then somebody said, I forget who said, one of the people goes, the cavalry's not coming or something. And I was like, that's what you have to remember in life. The cavalry's not coming.
It's never coming.
Yeah. And I was waiting for the cavalry, in certain ways.
It's funny though. Are you happy?
Happy enough.
Are we ever, like, if you talk to, is it a comic thing? Like, because if I talk to other entertainers or even regular people, are you happy? Yeah, I'm happy. Like, what is that thing? Like, okay, a guy goes to work and he comes home, he has barbecues, sees his kids, sees his wife, goes on vacation. They do their thing, they make their money, they save up, and they're happy. You happy? I'm happy. Yeah, I love it. I love my family. I love my job's good. I make some money. Right. Can we ever be happy? Are we always destined as comics to be miserable because we have to rip things apart? We have to be insecure. We have to be angry because that's where the laughter lives, I think, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, guess what? A positive comic is not a funny comic. You know what I mean? If I go to the airport and I go on stage and go, I went to the airport today, the line was long, but you know what? Thank God I had my cell phone. I could check stuff, so it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be really uncomfortable. And everyone's doing their job. Everyone's trying to do TSA, trying to do their job. So God bless them. That's not funny. That's not funny. Yeah, no. Gratitude is funny.
What's the funny version of that?
I go online. Okay, TSA. She's these two are on World Star Hip Hop watching. One girl's to her house. She saw Kevin Hart 3 nights ago, and it was the best show of her life. Her nails are here, and she's telling me to take the liquids out of my bag.
She's a white girl?
Well, that's the other thing, yeah. But, it's so funny because I was trying to do a routine because literally coming through from LaGuardia to Denver last week, a lady right in front of me with a fully grown pit bull, and she wasn't limping. There was nothing wrong with her that I could see. She looked pretty healthy, actually. And it's pit bull, and it just walks right through. And then the guy goes, do you have any liquids? I was like, there's a pit bull walking. And they don't even have the guts. They didn't even stop the pit bull. Like, they're just like, you can tell they didn't want to mess with it. But it's like nobody, you don't have to explain why you have a service dog. You don't have to explain. Because if somebody goes, why is that? Can I ask what? No, mind your business. A pit bull, but it literally was walking right next to me, like not on a leash. Yeah, because she had to take off the leash.
No leash.
No, to let it go through.
Jesus God,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
No guard, no nothing, and it was a real pit bull, like a gray, just a badass looking,
Yeah, beautiful dog.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's. Are you scared now? Are you scared to? I mean, if you think, like I think about all the stuff we've done, okay, and people are being held accountable for stuff they did 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And as comics, it's like if I think back to stuff back in the day, it's...
Yeah, the stuff we said was, look, if people want to get in trouble for what you said, they can always get you in trouble nowadays. I mean, that's how it is. You know what I mean?
But do you actually cater, or do we not cater at all?
I mean...
Do you cater more?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because I wouldn't say... cater, but I would say you have to be very, very clear about what you're saying. So you don't want to cater because then it's not funny. If you're just up there pandering, we were talking about that the other night. Yeah. People that go up and they go, oh my God, you're the greatest. And then they want to throw their little joke in at the end. So it's like, that's slick and I hate it.
Yeah,
but it works.
They'll say something positive about black people and then do a joke about black people that's kind of
Right,
racist.
right.
But everybody's okay with it because they said something up front.
And they'll just trash, they'll just trash their own. Like,
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you people are, or they're like, my cousins are racist. He says this, and then they'll get a laugh off the joke that their cousin
They
said.
don't have a cousin.
Right.
They don't even know their cousin. Right, yeah.
Like, he says this, and then they get their cheap laugh. So, yeah, you want to be a real, you want to be what you want to be authentic and honest, but at the same time, you have to make sure you're saying exactly what you want to say. Like in the old days, you might throw away a remark. Now, I mean, I literally spend at least once a set going, hey, guess what? You people are moaning because you don't even understand what I just said.
Right.
It's just the buzzword got you moaning. And I lecture, and most people understand that, and they kind of agree with that.
Right, yeah.
Even in the audience.
Yeah.
When you explain to them, you're upset because you think this, but that's, so you have to you never wanted it to come to that in comedy, but that's how it is. You have to really explain.
Yeah.
And you have to be very clear.
What would you
say?
What would you be? If you're not doing comedy? All right, you're always going to do it. You're just going to die.
Right.
What else would you be doing if you didn't do this? What would you be if you weren't this?
I mean, I took the police test. I got a 96. They never called me. They knew I would be a good cop. I think they just went to my block.
Is 96 good?
Out of 100.
That's great.
But I think it's too good. They say they don't like people to get too high marks because they try to act like they're in charge,
That'd be great if you were a cop. You'd be a great cop.
I would have been probably a great cop or the worst cop ever.
I think you'd be you would have been a shit cop at the beginning, but then you would have turned a corner. Now you'd be that good cop. Now, if you were a cop, would you be illegal? Would you do fucked up shit? Would you take money on the slide?
Back in the day, when I was 21, 22, 23, I can't imagine the way I was then not being a bit corrupt, I mean, I just can't imagine me being like the honest guy. I can imagine, especially when you're with a group of people, and it was like, we don't take from this, but we take from that. And I'd be like, well, I don't know. And I'd be like, yeah, but I mean, do you want to, all right, a couple extra bucks.
Right.
Especially with the bar tabs and stuff,
What do you mean the bar tabs?
Well, you go to the bar every night when you're a cop. So
Right.
it's like, you'd be like, well, I'm sick of this. You don't make that much money. So I can imagine taking free meals and then one guy going, hey,
we both
listen.
imagine we'd both take free meals. It's not we'd have most of our money would be in meals.
Yes.
Dumplings down in Chinatown.
Most of our corruption.
We come in, you just hear angry Chinese say,
Even when you said dumplings.
those fat fucks are here again. I got this thing I want to show you. You know what this is?
For guitar?
There's nobody worse than you for technology.
Why?
There's not a fucking person on this planet.
It's a metronome.
If my grandfather was alive, he'd know what it is.
It's a metronome.
It's not a it's not a metronome.
What is it?
Look at it.
First of all, don't
Oh,
have me on your show and talk to me like I'm a fucking idiot.
What are you, my wife?
You're like this.
What am I?
Look at it.
What?
Look at this.
All
How
right,
about this, you
Let me
fucking
take it out.
idiot?
Let me take it out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, from the old days.
What is it?
The iPod.
This is the first iPod, one of the first gens, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the second gen. Look what's on the back.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Tough crowd.
This is from Tough Crowd. It says Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn. They gave these.
I think I remember that.
They gave these away. This is yours.
Jesus.
That you gave to me.
Wow.
Back in the day. Because you didn't use it because you're,
Right.
I don't want to offend you on my show, a tech dummy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what you gave me. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
Remember that?
Jesus. Remember these things?
I mean, think about that was all your music on that day.
I know.
1,000 songs.
Wow.
Now on your iPhone, you have every song available ever made.
Yeah.
And we were filming a TV show.
It's crazy.
On them. We went from this, Tough Crowd, your own show, to being in my shed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lorna Doone?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have some Lorna Doones. Your favorite treat?
I love Lorna Doones.
Yeah. Lorna Doone. I say Lorda.
I know, just to bother me.
Yeah. This is your favorite treat. This is another thing. This whole box is for you, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I like that they put them in this little new packaging. They realized that the sleeves were kind of getting on people's nerves because they start to get stale.
Yeah.
Put them in 4-packs.
Yeah, well, if they had them in a sleeve, I'd probably eat the whole thing.
You know, I think that's part of it too. They want
Yeah.
people to feel like, oh, I'm not going to eat the whole thing, even though you end up doing it. You know?
Yeah. It's one of the greatest cookies. You love a nice dry treat.
I like a nice vanilla-based dry treat.
You like tea, and you like a nice dry tweet.
I do.
A treat. Sorry. I can edit that out, right? Well, what do you mean, no? So, here's the thing. We've established you're never giving up comedy.
Right.
No matter what. No matter the money. There's no number for you.
No. But if I came up with the perfect
Set.
1 hour where I said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Because one thing, my last 3 specials, I said a lot of things I've been wanting to say. And I feel good about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel really good about, like my last 3 specials, I'm like, I'm actually proud of them. Now, I never get to say, like, I'm proud of what they were trying to say, and I feel like I accomplished what they were trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I could do one more like that, maybe I would then.
Wasn't that this one?
Yeah.
That you're doing now?
It's a lot tougher. Because, you know, it's about the fluctuation, it's about the war, it's about the breakup of the country now, for real. That this country breaking up.
The first special was about...
The history of the world, how every empire fell.
And the second special?
Constitution.
And the third special was New York.
New York.
Right. I've seen them all, by the way.
And I know. And how political correctness killed a certain New York thing. It was also about political correctness, the third one.
Yeah.
Because New York used to be black, Puerto Rican, Italian. Like, you would speak Jewish, you would say these things. People had their little qualities about them that you're like, yeah, that's how they, you know. And now that's all forbidden, you know.
Yeah, God forbid there's a Puerto Rican section of town, or
right,
or a black section. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah,
that's exactly. Where Italian section. That's why Boston it was segregated, but still the North End was the North End, and you go here for this food and this culture. You go over Southie for bars and fucking boiled dinners and shit.
Yeah,
and that's all going away.
It's gone. Yeah,
it's all going away.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even I was in Seattle and you can't smoke anywhere inside. So they have cigar places that you can buy a cigar, but you can't smoke it in anywhere.
But you can smoke pot anywhere.
You can smoke pot, yes.
But not
pot,
cigars?
Yeah, pot's legal. Marijuana's legal, but you can't smoke a cigar. It's almost the future. I kept saying, funny. I was walking around and it was so... Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was very multicultural.
Right.
And everybody kind of looked the same. They were the same weight. They weren't in shape, but they weren't fat.
Right.
Very, and they all had the same almost clothes, color scheme going.
Right.
And they walked very quietly through the streets.
Yeah.
And it was like the future. It was like,
right.
And you can't, smoke and you can't say this and you don't do that. And
right.
It was really weird. Really weird. Like as opposed to New York where... there's a guy taking a shit in between cars and some ladies, you don't tell me who the fuck I am. And there's some guy bumming money and, and it's kind of everything, where, I don't know, it is getting weird. It's getting weird in comedy. It's getting weird in acting.
Yeah.
Where it's,
well,
I mean, is it bad though? I don't know if it's bad.
I think it's bad. Just my opinion. Here's why I think it's bad. I think it's false. I mean, I think inclusion and diversity is great.
Yeah.
But I say there's the lines these people are saying, there's something phony going on.
Yeah.
Something phony. And that's what I say. So yes, the inclusion part is good, that it's not just homogenized,
Yeah.
But there's something very false. You know what I mean? And I can't exactly tell, but it's a very appropriate thing. And it's starting to,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it.
So let me ask you one last question before we go. Right now, with your comedy, with everything you do, if you could stop something, if you could stop a disease or stop, cancer or hair lips, whatever the fuck. If you could get water, or and what would you do if you could do it? If
I could stop anything,
you could stop something terrible,
I would. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
and this will offend you a little bit. The Chip Chipperson podcast. If I could stop anything terrible that seems to be permeate through the nation. It would be this. Chip's podcast.
I agree with you 100%.
He got songs out now.
He's fucking huge.
He's got songs.
Songs. She's got a guitar.
Yeah.
He's got sponsors.
The only justice in the whole thing is I guarantee each show that Jim does, there's just one more, like it probably started was like Chip, and he does Chip. And now it's like Chip, and then a few minutes later he does Chip. And he's like, he does them again. It's only a matter of time.
I think we
have to do an hour of Chip.
The hour of Chip, and he has to show up with a bag of wigs at the airport. A nice hot bag of wigs, some props.
I think he actually might be turning to Chip.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
But that's what I would stop.
Stop Chip?
Yeah.
Not cancer?
Not cancer.
No,
Chip
not world hunger?
No.
No, not getting, no, maybe some, some type of sun energy that gives it to all the world for nothing, no solar power, not going to Mars, not helping children in India find water. Or
even when you were talking about Mars, I started thinking that Chip looks like a Martian. It just has that effect on you. Maybe that's why he's so popular. Maybe it's also because he looks like an outer space. You know what I mean? He wants to take E.T.
I mean, if you really look at it, him being famous as two people is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's famous as a character.
Yeah.
He's a Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
And he's Jim Norton.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yes.
But the most chilling thing ever was when we were doing the Chip podcast that day.
Yeah.
And he comes out, doesn't say a word. We're waiting for Chip.
Yeah.
Doesn't say a word. He comes out dressed with the suspenders.
Yeah.
How you doing? And the whole crowd starts laughing. They all knew. It was
sold out in an hour.
They knew it was Uncle Paul.
Yeah, The Rock. The Rock was on that fucking show. The Rock knows who Chip is.
They're one of the biggest stars in the world.
The Rock has no idea who I am.
No,
he knows who Chip is.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I'm in a shed. Fuck. No. Well, dude, I want to thank you for coming out.
My pleasure.
These are yours. I've got you.
Thank you.
I got you your favorite tea.
What about these?
You can't even wait. That's yours too.
Oh, thank you.
That says
my Valentine's Day?
That's your Valentine's gift.
That's very nice.
That's a bar of chocolate. What does it say?
It says thank you.
In what language?
French.
Merci.
Merci.
That's you. His is for you too.
Thank you
All
very
my
much.
guests on my show, I give them gifts. You get gifts when you come on my show, and I know what your gift is a nice Lorna Doone.
I appreciate
some
that.
Tazo tea and some chocolates.
I appreciate it. It's not Oprah, but I appreciate it.
Well, what do you want, a car? I'm getting you an Uber home. I love you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
I love you too.
Will you come back on again, season
Of course.
2?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I'm just joking. I have low self-esteem. All right, that is the first episode of Live from the Shed. I want to thank you for watching the show. I want to thank my guest, Colin Quinn, for coming all the way up from Tribeca, all the way up to Westchester, to my shed. You guys on Patreon, I love you so much for being Patreon members. This is Patreon only.
Yes.
So if you want to see this show live from the shed with me and Colin Quinn, become a Patreon member. Go to my Patreon account. What's the website again? Robert Kelly Patreon? What is it?
Patreon.com/Robert Kelly.
Patreon.com/Robert Kelly. We'll see you guys next time on Live from the Shed.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Colin,
See you later.
We'll see you later, buddy.
Yep.
Take care. Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Oh, something wrong with the car.